It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's but delicious. Well, hello and welcome to glennzb TV, the show that puts glennzb into your TV, and maybe even a little green guy, if you know what I'm talking about. Okay, we are following the very successful Pixting and driving segment, which we've been running recently. I've got a Pixting and parking. It's sort of what follows on from Pixting and driving. Because this morning I get to work just before 4. I'm not trying to Skype or anything, but it's kind of dark and not many people around. And I did this sweet manoeuvre this morning because there was a parallel park. But I thought, oh, you know what? If I get this U-turn just right, I reckon I can sort of Batman style my way into that park and just pull straight into it. No, you know, pull up to the car next and go backwards and all that, because I'm not a big fan of parallel parking, to be honest. We may have talked about this before. Anyway, I pulled it off to perfection. Big U-turn, bam, in the park, and I get out of the car, and you know, like I say, nobody around. It's 4 o'clock in the morning, and I say to myself, that was bleeping awesome parking. You are an amazing driver. I may have done a little dance, you know, quite loudly. I'm saying all this stuff, and then I turn around and notice that the homeless guy, who tends to sleep under the building right there, or was there, so I sort of had an audience. So that was a little bit awkward at that point, because I'd shouted all that stuff quite loudly, possibly woken him up. I'm sorry homeless guy. And then I thought I should take a snap of him just to show you guys the homeless guy that I see every morning. And then I had that difficult situation. I thought, well, I can take a good photo by turning the flash on. He didn't actually seem to be awake. Like my shouting and excited dancing hadn't woken him up. Or I'll turn the flash off and be considerate, because if he's not awake yet, I don't want to disturb him. So I did. I turned the flash off, and I just did the subtle walk by the phone, click off the shot. That's it there. There he is. He's got a mattress and everything. You can't see that. Shame. He's there. You just have to take my word for it. He didn't seem as excited about my car park as I was, now that I think of it. Hey, it's amazing what they can do these days. I don't know if you've heard about this election that's going on in the United States, but it turns out that they're testing the Microsoft Surface as a method of voting in the election. So that's pretty cool. This is Microsoft's answer to the iPad, which has just gone on sale in the States. Look how tiny it is compared to that big fat lady's fat fingers. Look how tiny it is. She's voting using the Microsoft Surface. And apparently the good thing about the Surface is that because it's got Windows 8, it's got built-in screen reading functionality. I don't know what that means, but it sounds pretty good when it comes to voting. But the real excellent thing about it, it's got a USB slot on it, unlike any iPad I've ever seen. And that's good because this enables sip and puff input devices for people with disabilities. So I didn't realise that if you can't type or tick, you can sip and puff. So Stephen Hawking, if you were an American citizen, you could vote, I guess. Interesting. I'm just sorry I didn't have a picture of the sipping and puffing. That's all interesting stuff. We'll just stay with the election because it is election day. We've got some worrying signs for Obama early on. When I'm recording this, we haven't really had any exit polls or anything yet, but there are some worrying signs because this is a shot of him calling one of his campaign volunteers personally, just to thank them for the work they've done on the campaign. But of course, what you can see there, if you look really hard, is that that's no iPhone he's holding there, and it's certainly no sexy Nokia Lumia. What that is there is a BlackBerry. The press still uses a BlackBerry. What a loser! Man, you are toast. You are so toast. Although on the other hand, we've got this bombshell from Bob Dylan today. He was playing a concert in one of the battleground states, as they refer to them, the state of Wisconsin. And he stopped in the middle of blowing in the wind to say that he thinks that President Barack Obama is going to win in a landslide in spite of using a BlackBerry. So that was a shock to me that he did a concert and actually played one of his hits. Because the last time I went to Bob Dylan, he didn't play Blowin' in the Wind, or in fact any song of his that I'd ever heard of before. So yeah, that's a major surprise from Bob Dylan there, out of that. And I'd just like to finish with something that's even more important than presidential elections: beer talk. Because Lion have bought Emerson's. Emerson's is what they call a craft brewer. This is in Dunedin. But it admits it did expect a little bit of negative reaction when people heard the news that the Japanese-owned lime breweries took over Emerson's. But it says, don't worry, it won't homogenise and water it down, the beer. And then the line knows it's beer and not milk we're talking about, right? I guess so. I don't want the idea of homogenised beer. That doesn't sound very nice. The line spokesman says it's really good that people are passionate about beer and passionate about craft beer, because you know the Emerson's, that's a fine tradition. It dates way back, Emerson's, to 1992. So yeah, I know. So that's a very traditional beer we're talking about there. But to me, the important thing about beer is not so much who owns it. It's really about alcohol content. As long as you can get a bit of a buzz on, I'm pretty satisfied. That was today's edition of glennzb TV. Happy election. I am glennzb, and thank you so much for having me in your telly. And if you just look down there, look. See that little green guy? You know what that's for, right? I'm making this too easy for you.